Okay, Kimmy, calm down with some ice water.
We're
now.
back.
I was riled. Oh,
Yes.
I still get angry every time I think about it. Yeah.
All right, what do we got now?
Okay, we have a new elders letter. And I've actually been hearing from a couple of ministerial servants that are friends of ours. And they've been wondering what's been going on because some of them are fully awake and they're being appointed elders when they have no desire to be appointed elders to begin with. And they're wondering what the heck, because they're not even asked if they want to be elders. And see, now COs can appoint and delete elders.
Mm-hmm.
But these MSs, they don't want to be on judicial committees. They don't want to go on shepherding visits and telling people how to live their lives, but yet they're being appointed to elders. So that alone reeks desperation,
big time,
and elder shortage.
Big time. And we're also hearing rumors. Well, in fact, it's more than just a rumor, but we can't reveal the source at this time. But we're also
darn bugs.
Also hearing that ministerial servants are now having an opportunity to take a peek at the Elders Shepherding the Flock of God book. While they're supervised, of course.
Well, ministerial servants, if you want to see it, just Google it. It's online.
It's online. You'll find it. You can read the entire book without some knucklehead elder telling you what you can and can't read.
Do they time them? Okay, you get 5 minutes to look at it.
Maybe. Well, here again, it's just enough to whet the appetite of the ministerial servant to want more. Ooh. I get a secret little book. It's the same thing.
Dangling the carrot in front of them?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what that is.
Hey, Brother Brooks, if you can get your family's hours up to about 10 hours a month, we'll recommend you for an elder. Yeah, 5 years later, that never happened. Jeez.
Is Mikey getting riled?
Yeah, it was because I wouldn't kiss anybody's ass to be an elder.
Yeah. Okay, so this elder's letter is dated July 11th, and it's not to the congregation. It's only to elders. So the MSs haven't even seen this. Well, they have now because I sent it to them.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's regarding the use of ministerial servants where the number of elders is limited.
Numbers of elders are limited.
Interesting. So I'm not going to read this whole thing because it's 2 pages, but I'm just going to skip through here. But it's interesting because it says, in congregations that have very few elders, capable ministerial servants who have demonstrated good judgment and discernment may accompany a member of the congregation service committee when meeting with Bible students desiring to become unbaptized publishers. Such capable ministerial servants could also be used to review with individuals the questions for baptism dealing with doctrinal matters.
Okay, I'm sorry. I something just came to my mind and I have to interrupt. It says ministerial servants who have demonstrated good judgment and discernment. For you ministerial servants that are in the Rio Rancho, New Mexico congregation where Elder Trevor is serving, you're not in good company with that brother. You will be disqualified if you continue to hang around Elder Trevor. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, guys, you need to get away from Elder Trevor. That guy will bring you down.
Yeah. In fact,
the good judgment is getting the hell out of Rio Rancho.
Yeah. Okay, since part 2, Jehovah's righteous requirements involve sensitive personal matters, an elder should be used to consider this section. If the congregation does not have sufficient qualified brothers, the circuit overseer may be contacted to determine if a nearby congregation may assist. When the baptismal candidate is male, the one assigned does not need another brother to accompany him when we're reviewing the questions. Now, this is interesting because it brings that whole paranoid thing in. It's like they're so worried about how it looks. Well, if you clean the pedophiles out of your congregations instead of hiding them, you wouldn't have this problem. Okay, yeah, I guess I'm still riled. However, when the baptismal candidate is female, the discussion should be held in such a way that the elder or ministerial servant is never alone with her. It may be possible, for example, to hold the discussion in an open room in the sister's home, where they will remain in plain view of others, but out of earshot. How about out on the front sidewalk?
Yeah.
Or perhaps they can meet at the Kingdom Hall in a similarly appropriate setting when another congregation is having a meeting. Ministerial servants should not be used to serve on judicial committees. In the rare circumstance where 3 elders cannot be located to serve on the judicial committee, 2 elders may care for the matter.
Now you can be convicted by 2 elders instead of 3.
Well, we already know all you have to do is convict on hearsay anyway.
Well, that's true, but I mean, now it's in writing.
Yeah. But it's interesting because here on the second page, in congregations where there are insufficient elders to fulfill the responsibilities of the coordinator of the body of elders, the congregation's secretary, and the service overseer, qualified ministerial servants may be asked to substitute as members of the service committee.
Ministerial servants can now be part of the service committee? What? Which really begs the question, because I know that when Kim and I was in the Wisconsin congregation, there was one elder, Brother Viagra Ty, as we also affectionately refer to him. He was the, well, they call him Kobe's now, but he was the presiding overseer for 15 years. The problem in that congregation is that none of the other elders really wanted to do anything. They always, threw their responsibilities off to someone else for whatever excuse they gave them. But now it sounds like when you're in a congregation that even if you have enough elders and they're not handling their responsibilities, they're going to use this as an excuse to give those responsibilities to a capable ministerial servant, even if there are enough elders. You watch. Mark my words. In congregation where the elders are too tired or too lazy to do anything, all these responsibilities will be thrown onto the ministerial servants.
Yeah. And I also had, I believe it was an email from someone today. Thank you for letting me know. But an 80-something-year-old elder, he had lost his wife and he wanted to, step down. He wanted to be removed as an elder, and they would not accept his resignation. They forced him to stay as an elder.
Reeks desperation.
Yeah, and that's all this does is just wreak desperation, especially now if the CO, can appoint and delete. That means they'll just come in and start appointing these brothers, whether they want to be an elder or not, because we already know that there's several who are secret, apostates.
Makes you wonder how I would react if I was still, inside of Watchtower right now. Because, when I was a ministerial servant, I was really, really working hard to become an elder, and it was only because I wanted to help the friends. It used to bug me to no end that we'd spend all this time in field service and yet just let the brothers and sisters walk out the back door, and not even give them a second care in the world.
You didn't even know that it was the elders forcing them out the back door.
Well, I know. That's how ignorant I was. But, that was my true motivation, was to be able to help the friends. And I just sit here and I read these letters now and I wonder how I would truly react to this. At this point, I just don't know how I would react.
Yep, I know.
Because with all of the problems that I had with elders over the years, writing letters to the society complaining about elders lying, manipulating things for their betterment, not the congregation's betterment, but for their personal gain. That stuff used to piss me off to no end.
Still does.
Well, yeah, it still does.
Yes. Now, just a foregleam of what we have coming up. We are working on some more international convention entertainment, and I want to thank you all so much for the videos and the links and everything. I am just overwhelmed and so appreciative. I'm going through all of these and getting clips.
Might just have to do a montage.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Just when I thought the Texas two-step
I think that one struck a nerve. I hear tell that was the
Were your ears burning?
Yeah, well, it could be. The one that we did in the Texas two-step, that was the product, or what's the word? I don't know the word I want. That was talked a lot about on the Rick Farron show, for lack of a better word.
It was a discussion they had this past Saturday
on the Rick Farron show.
6 screens of Watchtower. So we're glad we could help.
Yes, it would have been nice to be in there in person to hear that because we
Yeah.
could have added something to that.
I know it. If we
that's
wouldn't
okay.
have been having dinner with our company, we would have loved to
Yeah,
have been on there.
yeah.
But anyway, so
So,
we have more of those coming up that are like you're just gonna do the face palm. It's like,
and I also hear from the grapevine, a little birdie told me that JW Primetime has got his video finished and he's going to be uploading it this evening, which would be August 5th. If you haven't seen it, he really mocks Kim and I with our subliminals.
we can't
I
wait.
can't wait to hear it. I've heard a couple of excerpts, and I mean, even though he takes everything I say out of context, it's hilarious. I'm telling you. So we're looking forward to.
Yeah.
Hurry up, Tony!
Tony, quit watching videos and get yours done. Love you, man.
We love everybody.
Love
everybody
you all.
Have a good evening, and we'll talk at you later.
Say goodnight, Mikey.
Good night, Mikey.